Chappell Roan is completely challenging and changing the relationship between fans and celebrities in a good way. I think we've all heard about Chappell Roan's rise to fame within the last few months. With one song going viral on TikTok and Instagram, she's performing with fire on stage at the VMAs. I mean, she goes from this,
I'm having wicked dreams of leaving Tennessee,
to this, in just a few months. Given this quick rise to fame, it's no surprise that we're getting interactions like this.
You shut the fuck up! Not me.
It really is like they plucked up an unassuming, hella talented girl and put her on the red carpet. And I've just gotta say, girl, way to tell 'em. Y'all, I cannot believe myself. I literally looked up how to pronounce her name. Say it for me. Chappell Roan.
Baby. Come on, baby. It's Chappell Roan, baby.
Chappell Roan. Okay. Chappell Roan. Okay, that's how you say it.
Chappell Roan.
And yet somehow I still did it wrong the entire video. I have some difficulty with auditory processing sometimes, so that's what's going on here. My deepest apologies. If I ever make another video about Chappell Roan, I will say it right. Jeez. Oh my gosh, can't believe I did that. Anyway, on to the video. If you are just now joining this channel, hi, my name is Jen Carmiel. I am an artist, a figure painter, and I also talk a lot about like artists in the world, including musical artists, because why not? Let's just say I have a lot of opinions and people are gonna hear about them. You've joined us today on an unhinged rant. Welcome along. I wanted to look at Chappell Roan's I'm so afraid I'm saying that wrong. I wanted to look at Chappell Roan's interaction with her fans and with the public eye in general in comparison to artists that came before her, and discuss how these different people handle the limelight. Spoiler alert, none of these ways is necessarily wrong. I'm a huge believer in approaching things with neutrality. So it's not necessarily, when I pull comparisons, it's not necessarily like this person's doing it right, this person's doing it wrong. It's just interesting to see the difference in which we handle ourselves, because we all have a responsibility to ourselves to make sure our life is as comfortable for us as possible, and to teach people how to treat us, which is essentially what Chappell Roan here is doing. This video is also about asking the question, why are we behaving differently? Why is Chappell Roan getting away with this where artists in the past probably couldn't have? They probably had no other choice but to tight-lipped smile through it when they were in uncomfortable situations with fans. So the three factors here, in my opinion, is the intention for fame, the length of time in which fans were acquired by the celebrity, and the upbringing and background of certain types of people. I also wanted to say a very quick disclaimer. I didn't put a ton of research into this video. A lot of these opinions are just knee-jerk reactions and opinions to things that I see online and what I've seen in passing. I didn't feel like sitting down and actually doing a research paper on this. So I wanted to consider this video to be more of an open discussion. If I say things that are maybe not necessarily factually correct or something, let's just talk about it together, you know? Because I just had some interesting thoughts and I wanted to know if anyone else had them too. Before we get started, definitely hit the like button and subscribe if you want to see more videos just like this one. I had the thought, I'm like, is this video necessarily congruent with the content I already create for my account? But either way, I just wanted to talk, so here I am. If you like it, like and subscribe, because I'll use those analytics to say, oh, I should make more videos just like this one. So let's get started. Fame and poise in the public eye. Just a little bit of background if you have been living under a rock and haven't heard of Chappell Roan. So Chappell Roan was signed to a record label when she was, I believe, a teenager, 17 years old or so. I'm gonna actually Wikipedia this because this is fact stuff. I have to know this. I hate that the first thing that pops up is Chappell Roan a Nepo baby? She's not. Okie dokie. Yeah, when she was 17 years old, Roan uploaded an original, I'm pulling this from the chappellroan.fandom.com. So when she was 17 years old, Roan uploaded an original song, Die Young, to YouTube. And she was signed to Atlantic Records shortly thereafter, In 2017, she released her debut EP, School Nights, and in 2020, her single Pink Pony Club, and she was dropped from Atlantic Records that same year. I know whenever she was dropped from that record label, she actually went back home. She lived with, I believe she lived with family for a little bit, worked at a drive-thru. She was a regular person like me and you with all this talent nested in her body. And around 2022 is when she started to get back into music again, I believe, and her song Good Luck Babe went viral on TikTok and Instagram. Yeah, this is stating that her monthly listeners increased more than 500% between February and April. So February, March, April, that's 3 months where suddenly she's getting all this attention. She went from a seemingly unknown artist, someone who could walk into Walmart and no one would bat an eye, to one of the most widely known artists in the world, seemingly overnight. She dropped her album, Midwest Princess, and the rest was history. Or should I say, she made history with the coolest VMA performance I think I've ever seen. Anyway, the point is she seemingly popped up out of nowhere into the limelight. This is due in large part to Instagram and TikTok. See, before Instagram and TikTok, before we had all of this power to share things that are interesting to us, me and you, rather than the media outlet. If you wanted to become famous, you had to try. You had to do all these press tours and go through gate after gate of people who would approve whether or not you had the right to be seen in front of an audience. Your audience was often gained up slowly over time. You do one press tour, one press tour, one press tour. You would try to get this audience, that audience, that audience, and at each step of the process, you kind of have control over whether or not you're going to say, am I moving too fast? Do I need to slow down? Am I okay with the amount of fans that I have now? That kind of thing. I mean, think about how Taylor Swift did these interviews where she stated she would go out to record labels.
So I made up this demo CD of me singing karaoke music and went to Nashville with my mom, and she would like park outside record labels, and I would run in and be like, hey, I'm Taylor, I want a record deal, call me.
She was very active, physically active in making herself known for her music. Compare and contrast that with me sitting on my cell phone and hitting share, and billions of the same people doing the same thing. That is so much more passive, don't you think? If someone can just sit at home and everyone in the world seems to decide at the same time, I like your music, and then they share it. Also, the type of people who are making you famous are very, very different kinds of people. So beforehand, you had to go through all these gatekeepy kind of doors of people who judged you, judged your poise and your mannerisms and your behavior, and said, are you a suitable enough public figure that I want to put in front of my existing audience, my talk show, my radio podcast, whatever it is. There is so much more gatekeeping there. Whereas if you're sharing on Instagram and TikTok, people can just share whatever they're interested in. And because of the gatekeeping that exists, you had to have a PR team who taught you, here's how you act if you want to get noticed. As a result, we get people who are put into fame with much more deep intention, and they're better prepared for it because one, it happens slower, and two, they are intentionally entering into the public sphere with a team of people who are saying, hey, this is what's gonna happen after we do these series of tours. Once we market you, you're gonna start to get more attention. You're going to start to get more fans, and here's how you respond when you have those fans. You have more training, so to say. There was also, at that time, more of a public standard for, if you're famous, you have to accept this kind of treatment from fans, even if you're uncomfortable. If you accept one, your fame, you accept the second, which is your discomfort with your fans. I mean, that's why we see Anne Hathaway respond this way to fans.
Hello, nice to meet you. Do not move, please. Just a moment. Please stay where you are. I'll come to you. Is that okay? We are not going to push. This is very calm. Thank you so much.
I find it really sad that celebrities have to choose between discomfort with harassing and stalking fans and their passion project, what they love to do. In what other circumstance would we accept the treatment of fans to another person? If you're in a grocery store and someone a complete stranger just starts yelling things at you, running up to you, trying to touch you, grab you, that would be illegal. So why is it not illegal when it's fans on public figure? There seems to have been some understanding in the past where if you are a public figure, you are required to be okay with mistreatment. And I am personally really happy to see that Chappell Roan is challenging that statement, because at the end of the day, celebrities are human beings who deserve their own privacy. They deserve to live lives without discomfort, the same way that I can live my life without discomfort. Of course, there's going to be a little bit of a different degree to that comfort level, because if you're in the public eye, you're going to have attention no matter what. But where's the line? Why is there no line? Like, why are there not more laws protecting celebrities from harassment and stalking? In all of this, it also makes me think about the concept of likability. So what I mean by that is, in order to be famous, you have to be likable, right? So what does likability mean? In the past, likability meant the good girl that smiles and nods to inappropriate jokes and jabs. The good girl who's quiet about her intellect, conservative with her expression. You had to be quiet and compliant. You had to be palatable and agreeable. Nowadays, likability is very different, right? Likability is now more synonymous with relatability. To be likable is to be relatable, meaning shareable through TikTok and Instagram. No longer do you have to be the quiet type who is only ever saying things that cannot elicit discomfort from their audience. Nowadays, you can be a more authentic version of yourself, like Chappell Roan has demonstrated, rightfully so, and you can still hold on to that piece. I would hope. I'm hoping nothing happens with her because I love her. You can still hold on to that piece of what you love to do, which is making your music. Because take, for instance, it is perfectly plausible for someone like Chappell Roan to say, I love to make music. I love to write it, to sing it, to perform it. I love my music. I also do not want fans to approach me in that manner. Both of those things can be true and held in the same hand. I find it very unfortunate that some people have the opinion that because you accept fame and because you pursue your passion, you are required to accept mistreatment from others. Like, I don't find that to be a good thing in any regard. So to be likable is to be relatable. We decide, you and me decide, with our cell phone in our hand, what content gets circulated and in what context. It is no longer the media outlets who have the power of the audience. It's me and you who have the power of the audience, positive or negative. So rather than waiting for talk shows or magazine articles to tell us what to think about famous figures, we are constantly considering and commenting on the current way of things. Nowadays, likability is not who is perfect, who is this perfect idol of a person who exists separate from me, but whom I can live vicariously through because I'm not perfect, but they are. I need them to be perfect so that I can become a version of myself that I think I need to be through them. Instead, we have a different standard for people that we celebrate, because that's what celebrity means, right? We celebrate these people. We have a different standard for that. It's no longer this standard of a person who exhibits traits that I can't attain. We have let go of that perfectionism. Now, likability is authenticity. We want to promote people who are likable, somewhat like a friend, authentic, relatable, and kind, who cause little to no harm to other people around them. I add that last one in because of a certain scandal of late. I'm not gonna get into it. But it's just interesting to see like Chappell Roan's interactions with fans and how that's being perceived in the public eye. I would say it's like 50-50. I don't know. I'd say it's 60-40, 60 in favor, 40 against. About how she's handling fame and interactions with fans in comparison with the Blake Lively situation, which is very much like hardcore negative across the board. I haven't seen anyone who's, I don't know, maybe you have, I don't know. And I'm loving this change. I'm loving the people that are supporting Chappell Roan in her desire to set boundaries with paparazzi. Like, in some ways, like, sure, some people are always gonna say, you're ungrateful, you asked for this fame, but she never once asked to be harassed, stalked, or the face of ongoing threat. Almost everyone in the world knowing your face, now feeling entitled to your time, energy, and body. I feel like I've been saying for a while that paparazzi should be illegal, or at least that their reach and ability to harass and stalk should be severely limited legally. Like, it should only be legal to sell photos taken with the consent of the person who's inside the photo. Like, I don't understand how that's not a law. Like, if you're a public figure at your own event, sure, fair game, take the photo. But if you're just chilling and trying to go to the grocery store, come on, like, come on, let somebody live. Let somebody live. I just have to say that I am so grateful that Chappell Roan is stepping up to this norm of, I have to accept this mistreatment. She's saying, no, I don't have to. I want to do my music. I want to perform my music. And I also do not have to tolerate treatment that I don't want to tolerate. Anyway, that's the rant for today. I just find Chappell Roan to be a breath of fresh air and currently a crucial and important voice in the world of fame, fans, art in general. Like, to be able to share your art without fear of having to live in constant discomfort, to be able to set your boundaries. Like, I love that. I love that. I think there needs to be more of it. And I'm really, really hoping that going forward in the world, there are more people like Chappell Roan, and that maybe even her asserting her boundaries gives other people the bravery and courage to do the same. And maybe even get some laws passed to make it so that you don't have to assert your boundaries and it'd be like a weird, difficult thing to do. Like, come on. I find it to be very normal to not want to be harassed that way. Come on, man. Anyway, I don't know if this is gonna be a popular or unpopular opinion or not. We're gonna see when I post it. Maybe, I don't know. Thank you for joining me on this unhinged rant. If you want more videos just like this one, again, like and subscribe. As always, spending any amount of time here on this channel with me is a gift. I really, really do consider it a gift. And for that, this humble artist says, thank you. I have almost no light in my studio, so you can't see me through the heart, but we're gonna pretend. We're just gonna pretend.